Hi, this is Jennifer McGuire for Two Peas in a Bucket. This week I'm going to talk to you about Distress Crackle paint from Ranger. Here's a layout I did using it. I used it on the leaves here, the title, and the butterflies. There's lots of fun things that you can do with Distress Crackle paint. Here's a close-up of it, and I'm going to show you some of the basics today. Before we get started, I wanted to just quickly make some die cut shapes, some leaves with my Quick Cuts Revolution, so I thought I'd show you how I do that. You just lay the die face down on the platform, you put some paper in, and then put this clear piece on top and just run it through, and it cuts the leaves. It's very easy to do. This is one of my favorite machines because it just works really well, and I can also use it to cut several pieces at once. Quick Cuts has wonderful die cut shapes. It's my favorite shapes of all the die cut machines. And you can also use this negative piece as a mask. Now let's get into the Distress Crackle paint. First I'm going to start off by making this handle. I just cut it from the backing of some chipboard that I bought, and instead of throwing that away. And I put some adhesive on it, and now I'm going to put my die cut shapes on it. This way I can pick them up when they're wet and not have to handle them. This is Distress Crackle paint from Ranger. All the colors are made to match the distress inks they have, and there's this brush in it which makes it easy to use. I'm working on the craft sheet from Ranger 2, which is easy to clean up. On that right leaf I put a medium layer so it'll have small crackles. On this leaf I'm putting a thicker layer so it'll have big crackles. That's one of the best things about this paint, is it's one step to get the crackles, and then you can also do small crackles or big crackles. It'll level off on its own on that thick part, but you can see the difference here. To clean up on the craft sheet's easy. You just use a wet old t-shirt or rag, or you can let it dry and just scrape it right off. It's easy to do. Okay, so always let the crackle paint dry on its own for about 5 minutes before you start to zap it with a heat gun. I can assure you that if you let it crack on its own and dry over time, it'll be much better. But you can see here to the right how the cracks are coming along faster because I'm using a heat gun. It's better not to use a heat gun, but if you're impatient like me, you can zap it with a heat gun to help things move along. So here's a close-up of those leaves. You can see the one on the left has some bigger cracks to it, and the one on the right has smaller cracks to it. Now here's one with really big cracks because I put it on very thick and I zapped it with a heat gun because I'm impatient. So you get those deep cuts. And then I rubbed some paint over it, which I'll show you in a minute. Here's a good example. This is a heavier layer of paint, and this is a thinner layer of paint. So you can see how you can get two very different looks with the crackle paints. This one is just a butterfly where I put on a pretty thin, a medium layer of paint, and I'm heating it with a heat gun so you can see the cracks taking form. I did a few butterflies like this, and I'm going to show you how you can enhance the crackle effect with paint dabbers. So here's one of the butterflies. You can see all the crackles in it. I love this broken china crackle paint, and this is the Stream paint dabber. It's a darker color blue, and I'm just dabbing it right on. Now you can take a piece of cut and dry and work that into the cracks, but here I'm just lazy. I'm spritzing it with some water and wiping it away with a towel. So the paint is actually seeping into the cracks, but I'm wiping it off of the surface. So I'm just spritzing it with a mini mister from Ranger. I like that mister because it puts out a fine mist, and you can see the cracks are getting darker so they show up more. Now you can do a contrasting color, or you can just do a little bit darker shade, and you can leave more paint on if you want. I just wanted a little bit in the cracks. It's hard to see in the video, but it makes a big difference in real life. This is another one I did. I did a yellow crackle paint with some red paint over it, so you can see the difference there. Now you can see how these cracks are darker now there in the middle. Now on the wingtips, I actually put a pearl paint dabber on it so that you can see how the pearl seeped into the cracks on the wingtips, enhancing them a bit. And here's the difference. You can see the blue towards the center and the pearlized on the wingtips. Now here is how you can add shine. Just like I did on those wingtips, I did it to these crackle painted letters. These are My Road chipboard. I love their alphabet title letters, or alphabet chipboard letters. And you can see the cracks in it. I put a pretty heavy coat on here. In fact, I put 2 coats of crackle paint on it just so it'd be thick and kind of messy. So I've got them all on here, and then I'm going to I dab some pearl paint dabber right onto it, and here I am showing you how you can wipe off the pearl paint dabber and see how it seeps right into those cracks. It's a really neat effect in real life. And here's a close-up of it, and you can see the pearly shine to it. So there's a lot you can do with this crackle paint. Next, I'm going to show you how you can add water to your distress crackle paints if they're a little bit dry when you get them. Like this one, actually not when you get them, but mine was a little bit dry because I didn't put the lid on right and it just got a little lumpy. So I just spritz in water with the mini mister and mix it up really good, and then you can see here it paints just fine like it did when I first got it. So you can always add a little bit of water with your mini mister, but you don't want to drip water in it, just spritz water in it like that. So here's the completed layout. You can see I used the crackle paint on the title, on the butterflies, and on the leaves. If you have more questions, visit twopeasinabucket.com, and thanks for watching.